All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee. Looking sexy as hell as usual. But let's get this started. These start off slow and then they tend to pick up. So we'll see who we get here this morning, and hopefully we have a nice, good coffee chat. Right? Nice, good coffee chat. But it's going to be dependent on who we get. We get a lot of regulars. We have waves of regulars. Of certain people who are regulars at certain times, and then other people who come in at different ones. So we just never know what we're going to get in here. Coffee chats, I don't come in with a script because I'm still waking up. I'm literally on my first cup. I might do some other GBP. I got a consultation late this morning. But we're in a good place. We did laundry yesterday, cooked 11 pounds of chicken. You guys saw the meal prep. So all that's going good. I just have to get cardio and videos done today and consultation, right? Everybody's in a good place. So I'll get a run in. Like I said, I might do some GPP. I want to start doing some weighted carries. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm also debating with my squats. Do I want to mess with high bar for a while? I'll think about these things to consider, things to ponder. But yesterday's workout was good. Um, you know, I really want to put a lot of focus outside of my big three, a lot of focus in incline and overhead work. You know, incline and overhead work. I want to get my incline back to, because that's my best ever on camera. But I was a heavier body weight, bigger. Before cutting, I hit 225 for 10 pause reps. I want to get back to that. And I did set to 10 with 185 yesterday after benching. Let's see if I want to push that 225 bench up. I got 16 reps with it after doing heavy work. Let's see if I can get that. I might try to push that to 20. You know? You got to set rep goals because the only thing really heavy I'm going to do is going to be my big three. But that's 3 heavy sets every workout. Squat, bench, deadlift. But all that secondary work is where we're going to build our size. So yeah, I care about all that. I care about it a lot. Apologize if I'm yawning. I'm still waking up, guys. We're waking up. At this point, though, I'm almost thinking the best thing for my shoulder health is just going to be the incline and pull-ups, really, dead hang pull-ups, because that's been limiting me on the overhead, the inability to fully take my shoulders up overhead. Which you guys have seen me demonstrate. You know what we're talking about. Right? What's always funny, the number of messages I've gotten over the last couple of years with that from physical therapists, and they'll be from real physical therapy pages. Like you look and they're like a certified physical therapist, and they'll have some things they want me to try. Like, just try this. I promise you it will fix the problem. Doesn't do anything on either side. Like, I'll do it for like 5 or 6 weeks. Nothing. So it makes me start to really question completely the value of physical therapy. But then again, some experts in physical therapy would say, yeah, but they're assessing you just watching videos online and not doing a real assessment. They haven't really done it correctly, which is fair. You know. But like with every other joint for me, range of motion just comes from lifting. So that might be what I need to do. And just force myself to overhead press. Do my pull-ups from the dead hang. All right, hopefully this picks up. Hit the like as soon as you guys get in. That helps. All right. Oh, I should probably comment on my own. So, thus far, no comments. Like I said, once the regulars get in, I know I have no regulars because there's no likes. As soon as regulars see it, we're good. Although I should probably make a community post. That would help. Mm. All right. There's the first like. Once we get likes, everything gets good from there. The people who just trickle through and don't do anything, they don't help get the outreach in here. Unfortunately. Well, we had one that disappeared. We had a like, but it disappeared, so they took it back. And like I said, I'll make other posts in the meantime. Relentless. Good morning, Jason. The big three looked good yesterday. Thank you. Santosh says good morning. Good morning to you, Santosh. There we go. Now we're getting some people in. Yeah. Do you know what's funny? On Facebook, you know how much hate I got for the squats? I had like 3 different people look at my squatting and tell me I don't know how to squat. One guy claims to be a personal trainer from Africa and gave me all sorts of advice on my squat. And he's telling me, you have to stop leaning forward. You're going to get really hurt. And I told him, you should stick to your main job, stick to your day job. And he's like telling me how much he squats and deadlifts. And he's way younger than me. And I didn't say anything, but I'm just kind of like, I've squatted and deadlifted a hell of a lot more than you. And I'm almost 50 and not hurt. And I didn't say it. There's a point where you just leave stuff alone. Hey, coach, what's up? Well, you're not the first like, you're the first like to stick. Someone else liked and then it disappeared. Now we're getting comments. But yeah, I get a lot of people who don't like my squat form of all things. One guy was jumping on the bench, and it's hilarious, like an elite bencher looked in and says, I think your bench form is perfect. What's he talking about? Right? A lot of people don't like my squats. So I could catch a lot of flack for that too. But it's funny. People don't like any of my squat styles, but I'm someone who thinks the squat is perfectly safe and doesn't hurt people. I don't get hurt squatting. I must be doing something right. The number of people though who think that my squat, any squat style I use, doesn't matter what type of squat, a high or a low bar. All right. Someone always has a problem with this. You know how to squat, why? That's why. Yeah, you know how to squat. That's why I don't get hurt. But yeah, people always have something to say there. It's quite interesting. But I'm considering messing with high bar. My issue with high bar is still the shoulder position, no more than as funny as it sounds. People are like, really? High bar is harder on shoulder? It can be for me because to do it correctly, I got to get in really tight. And the problem is I have long arms. All right. So it kind of makes sometimes the grip awkward. Like my shoulder mobility has to be amazing for me to do a close grip and grip it correctly. Just in general, like my shoulders have to be on point. But I feel like the incline bench will help me with that. It tends to help stretch all that down. You know, I can get all that into a good position. I could go back to just straight up high bar squatting for a bit. Keep building my quads. Because I'm not substantially stronger on low versus high. I'm not one of those dudes who gets 50 pounds out of the low bar squat. I get maybe 10. Yeah. A lot of people have weird ideas about the squat, though. But the weird thing to me is the concern of forward lean, or they'll call it lean. Like if the bar is staying mid-foot, what are you people talking about? And I think when you get the different comments from different places, it tells us something. It tells us something about height around the world, right? People's ideas on squat technique. The very strange idea that people have of this staying really upright. You can't do that unless you need certain leverages, and the bar needs to be truly high bar to pull that off, right? I think people forget that in those conversations. It's like, I mean, yeah, you can get more upright with a true high bar setup, but what happens when you put a lot of weight on there, right? Dudes who squat 100 kg don't understand. They've never put 5 plates up on top of their traps. Do you have any desire to mess with some close grip pressing? Honestly, yes, but here's the thing. I feel like I need more chest, and the wide grip pressing in general, just so much chest between the flat and the incline. You know, maybe as I get later, I won't think that I need more chest. Oh, my Daisy YouTube app. Yeah, I can't even imagine watching any of this on a phone. Like, I mean, I surf the internet on my phone when I'm laying down, but I'm generally at my desktop, To do what I do is a full, usually gaming computer that I upgrade stuff. I didn't build this one. My old gaming rig started crashing and I didn't have a lot of time. So I had to run down and I actually grabbed a pretty decent gaming computer at Best Buy, and I just dumped a bunch of RAM in it and some extra hard drives. Right. I put a couple of 10 terabyte drives. I got like a 8 terabyte external I plug in for extra backup. So I just grabbed it off the shelf and just looked at what RAM it took and just maxed it out. And just called it a day. I felt like a little $1,100 or whatever gaming rig. Yeah. Well, I mean, I run multiple backup drives. The problem is some of my backup I left on the old one on the drive, and it's in my closet, my master bedroom closet. And there's some stuff on there I'd kind of like to get, like a bunch of my client backup videos, a bunch of them. That's like one of the folders that I didn't copy over to anything. So it sucks because I want to be able to go back and get those. So eventually I'm going to need to get that hard drive out, stick it in here, and get a bunch of files off of it. Because it's a lot of all my old client backup lifts, because I had hundreds of lifts like in a folder in there. And it's all my elite lifters. Like you guys have seen me upload some of them in the past, all these 500, 600 pound squat guys, 600, 700 pound deadlifts, all those guys. Nobody's mentioned or 400. All those are on there. And they're hard to find now. Like I've uploaded them on the channel, but I can't find them in search engines. But they're here. They're uploaded. You know. Hi, team. Great to see you here. How's it? Everything's going good, man. I slept on a hair later than normal. When I woke up, it was like 4:45. Like, let me hit the coffee button. Let me get my morning prayer. And yes, I pray every morning. And people could think that's silly, but I find it helps me with my day. So I usually while the coffee's brewing, that's usually my method. You know. So your comment gave him pause for thought. You guys are silly. Yeah, he's so sad. I wonder how he's going to react when all the other girls come through who are regulars. Great to hear, mad respect. So, what did he give you pause for thought on? So, Alex says you didn't text. What are you talking about, Alex? A new Facebook account. Oh, it's some. Not sure what they wanted me to text. That took me to task when I called them. Wanted to make me assess calling someone without all the details. Now I'm more circumspect. Oh, okay. So, what details are we talking about? That I should not have commented as I wasn't in that live. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, what is it that he gave? I'm curious what he gave me pause on. Let's see. You guys are hilarious. What are you talking about? Oh, I see your thing arguing with Psych in there. What do you mean, peppermint once are gone? You guys are ridiculous. You're ridiculous, dude. Uh, well, it's funny you see Peppermint. You may be missing it. Like he keeps going at Psyche. She doesn't do anything wrong. She's just sit here, occasionally ask a question about fitness, and just argues with him mostly. Oh gosh, that is one of the funnier trolls. He's consistent. I'll give him that. But I'm okay with this type of trolling. Like people are like, you don't. Well, no, I don't allow malicious, crazy stalker trolls. It's you know, which there'll be a new wave of them. I realize why I'm getting a few new ones coming through with the fake Merc thing again. I saw it came through the feed. Apparently, someone dropped a new documentary yet again on the fake Merc thing. They're just people are just they just kind of someone just every couple of years someone makes a new one just rehashing the exact same old stuff. The problem is that they don't include that I apologized for all of it, took it down, and that it was over 10 years ago. They don't include. So the problem with all of it is that it creates this idea, and that was one of the big criticisms I got from some people. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like real accounts, like on Facebook. They're like, yeah, but you continue to do it for years and years and profited off of it. I'm like, no, I took it all down shortly after it was done, and I didn't profit in any way. I mean, it actually hurt my outreach. You know, and then I issued apologies and said it wasn't true. Like that's what was fascinating is that there are people because of all these hate videos who have the perception that I continued to do the fake Merc thing for like 5 or 6 or 7 years. Right? That's where people are getting it wrong. They don't realize it was all done within a 2 or 3 month window, and it was all removed shortly after. And then I didn't mention it. I just blocked all reference to it for a couple years before I issued my really long apology, that's been like 7 years, probably 8 years since that. I don't know, 6 years. I mean, what more do people want? Yeah, that's the issue with it, is that people will just keep recycling the same material and the same soundbite, and apparently indefinitely, because it's been more than a decade and they're still doing it. Eventually, I'll drop some lawsuits. I do have a situation where eventually I'm going to come into a pretty sizable chunk of money, and I'll probably take some of that to lawyer up and just start hammering down all the channels who did that stuff. And even if I lose a couple $100,000, if I hammer some of them down and then get some money back out of it, because it may be a case of being able to sue YouTube directly at that point for allowing it to go on, because when you report it and they don't take it all down, it's technically a rules violation. It might be a case where eventually, over the long term, them not taking them down when I ask them to, including natural hypertrophy stuff, like I'll probably be able to squeeze quite a bit of money out of them. So, like I realistically feel like a lawyer could prove by them allowing, because I tried to take down all the little hate videos he did. I put in the formal request and they didn't take them down. By them refusing to do that, a lawyer could argue that I lost $1 million. And so he's not necessarily doesn't have it, but they do. So, yeah, you can't really do anything about it if ever met. Good morning, Jason. What's up, Ryan? How you doing? Yeah, and then that's the point. It was all for entertainment, and I mean, anyone with common sense should have realized that. Like that's what blew my mind the first time I finally issued a statement, and people are like, "What do you mean you're blaming the people listening?" Like, well, yeah. I mean, if a person was so dumb that they thought I was serious when I was clearly just doing entertainment, you can see from from my perspective, think how that looks. Like, you did some stuff that was just fun. It was stupid. You've been drinking for some of it, but someone else is egging you on to do it. They thought it was funny and great for outreach, and it was all an entertainment. And then people actually took you serious to the point where you got death threats and all sorts of crazy stuff, like real death threats. If you did that, you would also probably have the perspective of, wow, people are really stupid. Like, I can't believe anyone. Right. And what? You were unlucky that you did that as the YouTube overtone window shifted. Yeah, it was common fare. 2014, that stuff was super common. And I think people forget that. They didn't realize, did you not realize the popularity of Alex Jones literally talking about the same sort of stuff with 1 million followers? It's conspiratainment. Like, Alex Jones isn't serious with all that. I hope people realize that, right? He doesn't believe all the stuff he's saying. He's a business. It's an entertainment. So, yeah. But yeah, that was the thing to me. And later I eventually did a true apology. But yeah, that first time I addressed it, the people got mad. How could you blame? Like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, InfoWars was massive back then. So Yeah, that was my original response was people can't really be this stupid. They can't actually think I was serious. They just can't. I'm about to sneeze. I don't know why I've been sneezing so much lately. Hold on. I'm going to refill the coffee. Yeah. All right. Good morning, Jason. Evening, Dad. Reading mortgage. I've seen people get kapowed for showing no respect. What are you talking about? Morning, everybody. But yeah, I showed my refrigerator. You guys saw a little bit outside of my work area finally. That's the funny one too. Peppermint, you probably saw the fridge. Keep in mind, most of my haters are convinced I'm on welfare, by the way. What they call Section 8 is the equivalent of council housing for you guys in the UK. There is none in my area. So I almost, if that keeps going, eventually I'm going to start making jokes about my Section 8 stainless steel refrigerator and my tile floors. It's all paid for by their tax dollars. And the reason, because I just don't want to work, apparently. You know? What do you mean? You literally were talking about it earlier, Dad. You think about her a lot. I think you're a bit smitten with her, bro. She seemed like a nice girl, you know. I can understand you being smitten. What? Peppermint, she didn't mention you at all. Right? Says they don't pay taxes. I know, right? My haters don't pay taxes. You know, so I'm gonna start making a joke with that if that keeps going. If I might just ham it up and just pretend I'm on welfare next, since all my haters are convinced of it, and be like, oh, they just give it to me because I just said I don't want to work, so I get a, $2,000 a month house, tile floors, and a stainless refrigerator, and 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage. I got a walk-in closet in the master bedroom, all paid for by your tax dollars. Jesus Christ, these people are so dumb. AG checking in from the bedroom. I bought my Gibson with food stamps. Don't let her. I did not see that. What are you guys talking about? This little feud is really kind of comical. He's so obsessed with her that he just tries to turn everyone against her here. It's hilarious. That's a very strange way to flirt, bro. I'm just saying. Nothing, the boys. It was good to see you, brother. The people on Facebook who chime in, they probably have no clue what's going on because they don't see the tube chat. They usually get my attention if they hit a stars. It makes this really loud sound that I hear. I'm like, oh shit, someone's donating money in the Facebook. Yeah. I got cut off again for maintenance in the middle of my stream yesterday, but we got super chats and it got out there at least. It was only down an hour and a half, but I just didn't have wasn't in the mode to do another live stream at that point. I just was not in that mode. I made a bunch of shorts to put up today though, from yesterday's training, shorts and reels. So, Dad, I got a question. What's going to happen when any of the other regular girls who do start coming through in phases come through? Are you going to do them the same way as Psych starts talking about her horses? No hand on my heart. I got a chain on that says ELE, everyone loves. That's my motto, okay? Dad might not want to try it with some of the others. Yeah. Lacey lives, she's pretty strong. Oh crap. Yeah, she took your crown, dude. You might have to donate to get it back. Might have to donate. These are good for getting consultations. As funny as this sounds, these conversations end up turning into things. Like one of the guys in that stream the other day, that later one I did, he ended up paying for a consultation. I have it later today with him. She just outposted you, man. The higher engagement posts, the way she's doing, y'all got to get on top of it. She's being favored by the algorithm. She's tricked it. She used her psychology tricks. Yeah, she's using her psychological tricks to trick the algorithm. Man, you're in trouble now, Dad. Oh, gosh, you people. Jedi mind tricks. We're getting all these views now that people probably have no clue what's going on with this feud with these two. They're like, Coach, why are you entertaining this? Because it's what people are talking about. Coffee chats, man, I just go with whatever the flow is. I don't come in with a topic. I'm so used to just directing the whole channel and all my stuff anyways that sometimes this is entertaining. This isn't the live you're looking for, right? That's right, through the screen. No, Dad, we need way more people in here. We need to start hitting high. I've had one of these get like 150 viewers. Yeah, Coach is in flow state. But yeah, Ryan, you're right. The haters don't pay taxes. That's hilarious. I wish that I didn't have to. Like, it's strange that other people believe it. Like, I dropped one time into Vegan Gaines' live stream, and then he literally said the thing of, well, Trump takes these benefits. That's going to hurt you, Jason. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't qualify. Let me be clear. People don't understand my politics. I am opposed to taxation of citizens. So if I could get welfare, even if I had $1 million in the bank, I would totally steal it. Because it's government stolen money of my money that I'm getting back. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with it. They are stealing my money against my will. Taxation of American citizens is supposed to be illegal by the U.S. government. Okay, let's be clear. They're stealing my money. If I could get any of it back, I would. It wouldn't be a moral issue for me at all. The problem is they won't give me any. I don't qualify. So let me be clear, morally, I wouldn't have a problem with it. We have, where I live, it's lower than most of the world, way lower. But it's still, the problem is that it exists. Okay, and that's what we have to be clear on. Government should be able to fund itself off tariffs and business tax. We specifically in the US were never supposed to be taxed the citizens. We haven't rechanged our original doctrines to allow for any of this. We haven't amended the Constitution. We haven't changed our history. So that's the problem. All right. So yeah, I completely oppose the existence of the IRS. And they're the biggest thorn in my side. Like right now, if the IRS just ceased to exist, 80% of my problems in life would be gone. Like straight up. You know, just how I feel. How will your weird haters pay for their Mountain Dew if our taxes don't help them, right? But that's what's strange. It's like it gets thrown as an insult. But I'm like, I would do it. And I wouldn't have a problem with it. In fact, I would think it's any person who can get their tax money back from the government is a hero in my eyes. I would do it in a heartbeat. I do not have a method of doing so. I don't have a way to do it. There's no physical way for me to do it. They would just deny it. I would put in applications and it would just be rejected. So, all right. Yeah, I don't see the tax man exactly. Dude, and they hit me. Well, they hit me hard on the social media money. That's what really gets me. Those 1099 MISC forms are ludicrous. Like there's things I can do to shuffle coconuts, so to speak. A little bit of clever bookkeeping, but I can't do anything with the social media. All right, find your woman who gets it right. Well, no one gets enough. Like, dude, they don't get any real money. Like, it needs to be thousands of dollars a month. Hey, EJ, the social media gets the worst possible tax, actually. Do you know why? They put it on a 1099 MISC. Right. Self-employed penalty, all of it. So you pay the normal bracket plus 15.3%. So let's say 1 year I make $50,000 on Facebook, right? And you look at it and go, okay, well that ends up being whatever, the 15% tax bracket. Well, for me, it's 30.3% on that 50,000 because it's on a 1099 MISC. And yes, I've made 50 grand in a year before on Facebook, just Facebook. So these are the problems. All right, big business. Without taxation, where we go? Oh man, tariffs and business tax. Marriage is beneficial just for tax benefits alone. I'm single, but should just marry. Dude, honestly, it really is. Like marriage, if you're a higher income earner, marriage is really useful. Like in the US. Like, you know. Especially if Trump ever enacts that policy he was running on to where no American citizen making under 150,000 pays taxes. And then you get married, that bumps to 300,000. Because your brackets are based upon your marriage setup. So all your deductions, all those things, benefit you. You get a huge tax break for being married. It's like you get much larger deductions, for example. So let's say your standard deduction is 14,400 that they take off your top. If you don't do an itemized, you get to double it if you're married and you file together. And you get a lower bracket. So married couples, their combined income has a different taxation bracket than single people do. And it's beneficial. So two married people, if they're smart, will pay less taxes than they would individually. So our tax system encourages marriage. It's not good in the UK. Yeah, here it is. So it's our system here encourages marriage on the taxation end. So, you know, right. Right. Well, Dad, you should reconsider that. She seems like a nice girl, dude. You know, at least sit on it for a while. You know, she was absolutely devastated when you said you would never sleep with her or whatever yesterday. Like, I don't know how she's going to get over it, to be honest. Oh man. All right. Yeah, totally devastated. Coach, check out Pride and Honor. Yeah, dude, you keep bringing that up, man. I'm not really big on theme music for different things like that. It's just not my thing. As an actual musician myself, I kind of appreciate musical ability, not music that is sold using what's the term we're looking for? Hey, we're going to make music based around this video game lore, or we're going to make music based around just whatever social trend. Like, that's bullshit. No. Marketing. Yeah. No. Coach, some anime has good music. I wouldn't know. Coach, you like the Deftones. I don't know any of their songs off the top of my head. Obviously, I've heard of the band and know who they are. It's just I never got into them. All right. No. I've got to remember to check Facebook. Mm-hmm. I see some interesting stuff as a coach, though. You know, this is something that frustrates me as a coach sometimes. The number of people who've been training for years and have no idea how to do lifts. Because you guys know that I put out the info that everyone needs to master the basic lifts. That's your foundation. Um, and then I get people who can't perform even the most basic exercises, and they're like, I've been working out for 8 years. And then I see their stuff, and I'm like, they have no idea how to perform a basic bench press or a deadlift. And I mean, no concept at all. Not understanding that a deadlift, you don't start with the bar 2 inches in front of your toes type stuff. It's just shocking. Unfortunately, I have to agree with the part where Dad said, I've listened to Pride and Honor. It's not bad, catchy even. Okay. All right. That's what I'm talking about. So like, you have to keep behaving like this. And you'll keep. Oh, man. Again, as I've said, most grown women do not date men who watch anime. All right, Peppermint, you're still in that line for me. So I've seen a couple episodes of Naruto because I knew two girls who were super into anime. They were a little kind of, what's the term? Almost weebs. I think that's the term people use. Um, and I watched a couple episodes with them because trying to understand what they were all about with it. It just wasn't my thing. Yeah, Dragon Ball. No, I don't. I'm not interested in Dragon Ball Z. So I did see one show like just streaming one day because I was bored and working on something. It looked pretty cool, but I just couldn't really get into it. I will admit that the concept was cool, and I used a little bit of it with some of my painting for Warhammer on some of my Slaves to Darkness army. I applied a little bit of the aesthetic I saw there, but it was called Space Pirate Harlock. The ship was cool. I liked the color schemes, but I couldn't get into the show. You know, but whereas an artist, like we draw inspiration from different stuff. I use it for one of my chariots because it had a skull up on the front. The same kind of motif. The same thing like when I do bone or whatever, I'm inspired by real bone I've seen. So one of my guys, I was inspired because I saw an albino crocodile at the zoo up against the glass. You know, and that was some inspiration for painting, you know. And I'll show you what I'm talking about because then it looks like I made it look exactly like the albino alligator skin. People in real life are like, yeah, dude, the paint is good on that. So I'll show you what I mean. All right. So this particular model, when I painted it, it was the same idea. So his skin, it's all dry brushed in. You can't really see the detail here, but I did the scales based upon the albino alligator I saw up close, you know. So, you know, you get the idea. But honestly, for me, Warhammer really just turned into just a painting thing. Are the models expensive? Yeah. I could probably sell Bellacore for $500, $600, $700 right now. I could put him on eBay and get that for him. I think the model costs a little over $100. It was like $150, $120 unpainted, and then you have to put it all together. But I've seen Bellacore's painted less extensive than mine. One I got awards for sell for like $500 on eBay. I can actually sell. So, so your hands can deadlift 500 pounds for reps, no straps, no chalk. I can precisely paint, and I play the guitar. Yeah, I'm big on edge highlighting. Well, I mean, I'm very tactile. Like I'm very good at that in general. And before you go there, yes, all of my exes appreciated that. That has been noted. I really appreciate the effort you put in. Listen to Friday Hunter. Do I like classical music? Yeah, I like classical. I may eventually get into some classical type guitar on an acoustic off and on some when I get more free time. I need business to pick up, right? Business reaches a certain degree, I'll focus more on my artistic stuff for a while. I mean, obviously, I know classic scales and things, but we don't use them in any of the music style that I do. Most of the music style I do, we don't use the classic scales. We tend to use pentatonics or blues scales. Like a lot of songs that I play personally and like are based on like E minor pentatonic, right? Right, piano bass, right? I'm actually familiar with Chopin. We only got 15 people in here, but yeah, we need more likes, guys. Come on. But yeah, I love guitar. Guitar is really such a diverse instrument. That's why. I mean, I originally got into it because I liked metal growing up, but it's just the diversity of the instrument. You're so unlimited in what you can do. Whereas in with the piano, you have basically notes, right? You just have notes. You don't have all the access to all these different special techniques to bend and shape the sounds, right? I mean, we can totally change playing the same notes and scales, completely change with what you do on the picking hand to the point where they're a completely different sound. When we start getting into regular picking, pinch harmonics, finger picking, it completely changes the tones of everything. Same thing with pianos and other instruments. You're more rigid in what you can do. No, I've never played drums. One of my bros does though. Whereas with guitar, string bends, slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, string bends. Let me show you what I mean. Can I find a pick? There we go. So I'm not plugged in, so you're not going to hear where you tell it. I picked up the guitar pretty easy. Guitar playing came really easy to me, but it's like, so just different stuff. So with a piano, you're stuck to, right? Individual notes. You can't do pinch harmonics, which you're not going to come through without an amp, right? Totally different. Right, you don't have slides, you don't have hammer-ons, pull-offs, bends, harmonics. You can't tap on a piano, right? Definitely not going to get bluesy like that. They're going to have all that. No, wrong answer to. I think the only. Never mind. Sorry. That's coach. I think we need more coffee. Check Facebook too. Nothing happening there. we're back. Grab your cup. This coffee is pretty decent. I put up pictures of this one. This is at Pete's, like dark roast, French roast. It's not bad. Bought quite a bit of it though. But I had a fan buy me one of their other flavors through Amazon, so I grabbed that one. All right. But no, as far as guy asking about the touch and all the other stuff, like I actually am really good with fine motor skills in general, like that. The grip strength I had to develop. Like I didn't have great grip strength when I started training. I don't even know what a Zercher get up is, Dad. You're very obsessed with the Zercher lifts. I don't even know what a Zercher get up is. I know what a Turkish get up is. Never heard of a Zercher get up. Do you not do any classic lifts? All right. Because I mean, look at my training yesterday. It's pretty straightforward. We did squat, bench, deadlift, did barbell rows, incline bench, weighted pull-ups. Then I did one-arm dumbbell presses. Yeah, you can't. So in other words, Dad, it's a make-believe exercise that can't be done. Gotcha. That's all you had to tell me. I might need to put the word Zercher in the spam filter. We just don't need Zercher stuff in here. I'm kidding. I mean, Zercher lists can have their place. I think particularly for certain types of combat athletes, right? Anyone who grapples, there's definitely a place for heavy Zercher lifts, but not low lightweight, not something like you're talking about. Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I'm thinking get up isn't that good. Yeah, Dad, you're basically just talking complete. Let me just put it in as the Brits and other people here to understand. You're just making up silly stuff as you go, just random. Complete bollocks, right? Is adding something like a towel to a barbell hold a good way to progressively overload? What do you mean? No. What I would be careful of is why are you trying to do barbell? What are you doing with barbell holds at all? You talking about just building grip strength? Barbell holds are a little overrated. I mean, you can do them, but what you're going to run into is a lot of axial fatigue. I mean, you have to do them double overhand to get anything out of it. You could do that. But you could also just do lots of pulling. You could do hangs. Yeah, but it's also going to be a towel in that cloth, and it's going to be inconsistent. So it's going to be hard to progress in terms of that grip strength poundage because it's going to be inconsistent. You know? I mean, we could go into a lot if you really wanted to push grip training. Getting an axle bar would work. But first off, do all your pulling without straps, your pull-ups, your rows, your deadlifts, everything. Right? If you need to, hammer curls, plate pinches, block pinches. So even if you don't have access to a lot of equipment, pinching plates together can work, right? And holding them. because you've got to hold them together. If the grip loosens, the plates drop if you have 2 or 3 of them together. Yeah, Dad, it's, I don't even see how it's possible. Like, all these structure RDLs, I want to be able to do them raw. I mean, I've done RDLs for reps without straps pretty heavy. Like, I've done 4 plates, so I've done like 400 pounds, 405 for reps on them before. Which, yeah, grip does become a limit at that point to some extent. The grip strength I had to build, right? I had to build grip strength. It didn't just come. I had little bitty tiny forearms when I started. Like, I have all this. I wouldn't program burpees at all. I don't get into that type of ideas for conditioning. I just don't see the point of a burpee. Go run. Go push a sled. Right? Just way better conditioning. They feel like a really mamby-pamby conditioning tool for the most part. I mean, so if you don't have any equipment, just go run. This is really easy. Running is way better than doing a burpee. But if we're going to do other equipment, the loaded carries, sleds, prowlers, pushing, pulling stuff, big on weighted carries. I'm keeping the runs really short because I'm doing so much leg work. I'm probably not going to go crazy far. I mean, I might only do 1.5 miles, but we hit a mile PR the other day. I'm bigger on long distance, but I sprint with my sled, Dad. So do you watch the training vlogs? So I sprint with my sled, but I don't sprint on foot. Like, I want it to be against resistance, but I just run. I mean, I've done some 5-mile runs on camera. But no, you should be fit. You should be able to run, guys. You're an athlete. That's why my friend, like David, I'm going to get him to do a thing. I'm going to probably do a collab eventually. He's a coach and he laughs. He does that to me. He's like, well, you downplay what you do so much that it's comical. And he's like, he's like, I'm a coach. I'm a full-time coach. And what you do is insane to me. He's like, your normal week-to-week training, you pretend it's not insanely hardcore that anybody can do it. And I'm like, because I believe that anybody can. And if I thought it was hard, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. So there's something to be said for self-programming. People convince themselves that fitness is hard. Because he's like, dude, you'll go deadlift 5 plates for rep work. You'll squat and deadlift heavy weights and then just go for a random 5K run the next morning barefoot. He's like out there barefoot and he's like, you're almost 50. He's like, that's people don't do that. I'm like, because they choose to suck. They choose not to be able to do it. And that's the point I make. When you start seeing what you do as difficult or hardcore, you're creating a barrier. Right? You're creating a barrier. And this is why we have the problems we have and people aren't fit, is people act like it's difficult to eat clean and healthy. They act like it's difficult to just go train every day. Or they're scared of the harder movements. And I'm not. Like, for me, I'm going to deadlift every workout. And I'm going to deadlift weights that most people think is absurd. Then I'm going to do it 3 days a week. Then I'm going to go run the next morning. I'm going to push a sled after. Um, but it's not hardcore. It's just training, guys. Someone else goes, my God, that's like an elite thing. And I'm like, to me, it's a Tuesday. It's just Tuesday. Just get in your flow state and just train. Like, I don't get psyched up. I don't get angry. Just go lift the weights, guys. Just focus. Just get it done, you know? Right. And you know, and we need to learn to see it that way if we want results. So I hate this whole pretending stuff is difficult or that it's hardcore and this holds people back. This is what holds people back. In a second here. Peppermint needs to develop a code of honor. I mean, running isn't challenging. Like, as a species, we're built to run. Getting strong is way harder than learning to run. It's way more difficult for us as a species. I tried to get into sprinting, but my quad, yeah, sprinting can be tougher on recovery. Yeah. 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 So the worst thing you can do is think it's difficult. This is why I don't respect the guys who get up and do this. Oh, everything's hardcore beast mode. This is so hard. It's like, guys, just stop. Just stop. I mean, you are literally programming your followers to be pussies. One arm farmers carry, they can be. It's called a suitcase carry, by the way. It'd be the term. They can be, although you're going to get just very niche. You're going to get more out of using both hands because you're going to move more total weight. Now, if you're trying to get some unilateral development, maybe in some of your core, there can be benefits to that. But more even loading is going to give you better overall conditioning and effect. So using both hands. Right? Hopefully people get this. And we haven't been getting any super chats in these in the mornings. What's up with that? Only have one kettlebell of each weight. Well, so you could switch weights side to side a little. All right. You use a slightly lighter one in one hand than the other, and then switch hands on the round back. It's an option. And this is why they pay me to coach. Coach, going back to comment on some people not being able to do the most basic lifts, do you think you could coach almost anyone to do them? No, absolutely. Now, it's harder online. So when I'm doing virtual coaching, it is more difficult to teach really bad fixes. But in person, dude, I can take an average Joe and I can have you to a competition quality deadlift in 5 minutes, like ready to compete in terms of your technique. You know, I'd say benching is the most complicated of the big three. It's the most technical in terms of getting a really good quality bench. And I think most guys struggle with wrist stacking and grip the most. But again, dealing with men, getting men to actually pause their bench is, as a coach, one of the most difficult things to do. They just will not stop bouncing it sometimes. And it's like, this is the entire reason that people think people get hurt on the bench. Like, if everyone in the world just stacked their wrist and stopped bouncing the bar when they bench, no one would believe the bench press is a dangerous exercise that hurts people's shoulders. That this entire idea would largely go away. Hey, Dad, I'm not going to map out a GPP for you in a stream. Like, if you want programming, you got to pay for it. I don't work for free. Where should I go? I need to invest in a good sled so I can push and pull on concrete when my legs are at their biggest. Yeah. So Ryan, I have the Rogue one with the nylon feet so that I can push it down the street. You don't want metal on the concrete. So I have the replaceable nylon feet on mine. How many sets were you doing when you squatted 600? I mean, of squats or of some supplemental work? I was doing about 6 sets of squats a week. But I was doing some belt squats too. Not counting the singles, so I was doing rep work. So I would usually do a heavy single and 3 back down sets of high reps twice a week. Drive a hard bargain. I mean, this is my business, dude. I do remind people of that. I mean, I put out a lot of free information, but I'm not going to work for free. I mean, I get paid for these even without supers, but supers would make it worthwhile a little bit more. Like yesterday, I got cut off in 15 minutes, but I had $11 in super chats by the time it cut off. These breakfast chat or the coffee chats, though, they just don't really, people rarely donate in these. Interesting. But they get subscribers and they get views and ad revenue. As long as subscribers are going up again, we're in a good place. Yeah, no, I mean, this is a business. All of it is. But the problem is here, even the same thing, is this all goes on a 1099 miss. Like you get taxed hard. All right, we get taxed. And no, I'm not going to go into the details of how I get around other stuff, because that is not a public discussion. I'm not going to discuss my bookkeeping with the public. Straight edge, that's right. Like the stream, straight edge. It's still a little slow in here, but that's okay. We're not picking up subscribers this morning, so we picked up none from this stream. Afternoons are a lot better there. All right, they're way better. I get such interesting stuff. I'm getting guys coming through Facebook who are acting like their legs and stuff are bigger than mine. It's just like, you guys are crazy. And then they'll put their stuff up, and it's like, one of them, and he's like saying, "You look like you skipped leg day," and he's got shorts on in his profile picture. And I'm like, you do realize you're wearing shorts in your profile picture. I had to snapshot it and put it up. Like, dudes, come on. Y'all gotta be kidding me. I just can't. And dude, it puts up other stuff, and it's just. I just don't understand sometimes. You know? So that's been strange. Like lately, I've been getting dudes to act like their legs are bigger than mine, and I can clearly see their legs. And they're like, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure they aren't. You know, like this is just a shot of me from the Rose yesterday. you guys got to be kidding me. No, he just made #1. Yeah, because Psych hasn't posted in a bit. Right. So that's just a snapshot while walking over. That was a good go in that little series. It's like, you guys have to be kidding me. But it's the internet. Like, we all know my arms are my worst muscle group. Like, we know this. But on the internet, I'll get dudes who are like, you have no arms. And then in public, like, I get compliments on my arms. I want women to compliment my arms in the grocery store. It's like ridiculous. I just don't. The internet is so strange. And it's dudes like, what has happened where the bodybuilding niche is so feminine? And this is one reason I clown on it. Like, I've clowned on bodybuilding for years. Bodybuilders will literally come to your social media and insult another man's physique. Tell me that's not completely feminine behavior. Like, are you serious? It's not like I'm a bodybuilder, so I'm always like, well, how much do you deadlift? You know, I have no interest in competing in bodybuilding. And I get tons of compliments on my body in public, so I'm not seeing a problem here. It's very strange. You know, very, very strange. And I think the problem is that so much of the online fitness world has been permeated by bodybuilders. And it's gotten worse with the fake natties and the AI and the Photoshop because they perpetuate unobtainable physiques, you know, that they can't even maintain themselves. So it's, again, I don't see what good it is. Like, outside of marketing, I don't see what the point is of someone striving for that sort of physique unless they're going to make money at it, because they're not going to sustain it. You know, and then I'll get guys who will pull the same thing. They're like, well, I want to do this for the beach. And I'm like, you're going to dehydrate yourself and go get out on a beach? So you're going to do a full water cut. You're going to spend 6 months cutting for one trip to the beach. And then you're going to dehydrate yourself for the day at the beach. And then you're going to be out in the sun. Well, I hope you have a good doctor. And I hope that you're prepared for the consequences if you have organ damage or a heart attack in the middle of that. You know, it's such a strange thing. And while I can understand, it's people they're not understanding the unrealisticness of it. You know. Right. And mainly I'm talking about the ultra shredded thing. And then the same thing that with the proportions they want. There's so much site enhancement. It's out of control. The site enhancement's out of control, even in the influencers at this point. You know. And I get it. I mean, it's no different than women getting implants. You know, which I'm fine with. If women want implants, hey, they look great. But understand that it's the equivalent. You know, so when you see bums delts, understand that that's the equivalent of implants of women getting breast augmentation. Because it's not actual muscle. And that's what people forget when they see the big round delts. That's not actually muscle tissue. It's accumulation of encapsulated oil and scar tissue. But yeah, all the delt pinning is out of control on social media. You ever heard about Chris Hura? He disappeared. Yeah, a lot of these people do that. A lot of these people do that. He probably made his money and went and did something else. Because some of these guys, if they blow up really big on social media, like you'd be amazed how much money you could make in a short period of time. You know, so for example, you go to Facebook and you see someone who you're like, man, their pictures get thousands of likes every day. They're living off that. Like if their Facebook has that type of engagement, they can pay 100% of their bills off of just their Facebook. Just an FYI. And Instagram is now shifting in that direction finally too. You know, so if you see someone up there and you're like, they put up a couple pictures a day and they get 5,000 likes on every post they make, they're paying their bills off of that. Now they're being taxed like crazy. You know, they are being taxed. Man, this coffee chat's kind of dead. I might wind it down and upload some other stuff. Just not much happening in here. Oh, Lars has sent a request to be unbanned. So, under his real Facebook, too. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out how to do that real quickly. All right. All right, I've unbanned Lars. Right. So I just unbanned Lars. Let's see what he does with it. But guys, I might go ahead and wind down the coffee chat, work on some other projects. I can get some other posts going. All right. But we'll do an afternoon stream 100%, as long as we don't have technical issues with the internet being repaired in my area. So let me wind down the Facebook. And I'm going to hop out of here. Love you guys, and I'll catch you later today.